Adam, you coming?
Yeah.
Dude, what are you wearing?
Laundry day. I like the Colts. I think they're a good team. 2-2.
What the hell? Alrighty.
It's not
This is the Jets Up North podcast. Things are a little bit different today. We don't have a beautiful background behind us, just a wall with the curtain.
Or a beautiful co-host.
And I'm without my regular co-host Adam, but today we're joined by Ryan, who is a obviously diehard Colts fan.
And a day one listener.
And a day one listener. I think we referenced him in one of the earlier episodes. Adam is away on vacation. He's in California. So he actually was on the airplane during this game, which is kind of funny because I'll get to that in a moment. But in replacement, we have our bro Ryan. So it's going to be a great episode. Really quickly, Ryan, let's talk, since you're here, let's talk about Colts Rams.
Let's do it.
We can do a quick little rundown on it. How are you feeling? We talked about right before recording that it was a similar type of game where it was lopsided early and then all of a sudden it was a nail biter. So give me your thoughts on the Colts game.
Yeah, like it was one of those games, like I think I said this to you or somebody, like it's as good as you can feel in a loss. Like, the game started, we gave up 2 early touchdowns and then just got no traction on offense, so I chalked it up to Rich is coming back from his concussion, maybe slow start, didn't get to practice a ton.
Yep.
I was building up the excuses oh, not our week, and new coach, new quarterback.
Rams are looking hot.
Yeah, exactly. And then I was on the road for this game, and then I got home for around the second half, and then we just start Rich magic just starts happening.
That was special.
Yeah.
He seemed to just be just playing from behind. He was making all the right calls, got them back into it. That's fantastic to see. Didn't come out with a win. You lost an OT to Puka Nacua. Couldn't lose to a better player.
2 guys bit on Van Jefferson in overtime.
Oh man, so tough. But overall, I think for the Colts, you're looking at a pretty good outlook of the season.
Great. Yeah, 2-2.
You're 2 wins already this early. You're feeling fantastic about that. So
yeah.
The Colts and Jets don't play this year, though, do they?
No, I wish they did. I think we play the North this year.
Yeah.
Is our AFC division we play.
When would have been the last Jets-Colts game? It was last year or the year before?
I think it was the Wentz year, so 2 years ago. We played in that Thursday night game where we stormed out.
Yeah, Josh Johnson. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he kind of made it interesting at the end.
Yeah, the comeback ball because Mike White had the first drive and hurt his arm or whatever.
Yeah, we ended the Mike White run.
I just remember the touchdown to Elijah Moore or whatever. Yeah. But no, Jonathan Taylor literally scorched them. I remember that. I think I went to rec basketball that night and I checked on my phone. And it was Jonathan Taylor running a huge that was 60
the best
yard.
Our offense looked that year. Wentz was dealing that game too. That was in my peak. Maybe Wentz is the guy era.
I'm happy. It's funny that we talked about Wentz because Adam hated. I was literally after the Patriots game. I was please
sign Wentz.
Bring in Wentz. Just bring in someone competent. But yeah, so that's awesome. So moving on to the Jets Chiefs game. It was on Sunday night. It was. I just said this before. Besides from the Bills game, because that was a win, it was definitely the most fun Jets game. It was the most watched game since the Super Bowl. Partially probably because of the Swifties that were there, which I had my face going through the table every time it was mentioned in the broadcast. It drove me insane.
Dude, I love it. I kind of love it.
It's funny, but it was cool. It's aha, sweet, but it's it's almost like the Ryan Fitzpatrick went to Harvard thing times a million.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean? Where it's just hey, by the 20th time, it's we get it. She's at the game.
Yeah.
And it's it was in the fourth quarter, and it was tied 20-20, and they're talking about Travis Kelce's Instagram followers.
Yeah, that's getting obnoxious. I like the high level, getting girls into football and
No, totally.
If 1% of the population of Swifties,
and they're a sweet power couple, individually as people.
That's what I mean. Sweet. I'm happy for Travis a little bit too.
Yeah. Their podcast is great.
Yeah. But if 1% of the people that are tuning in just because of Taylor Swift end up going oh, football's pretty sweet, I might watch another game or watch Red Zone or something. I think that's awesome. So.
Yeah, true. Did you see that Red Zone's coming out for NHL now? It's a hockey version.
Yeah,
they just
I don't know how they're gonna do that
because it's not a weekly thing, but kind of fun that the concept is still pretty it's fun because I mean red zone is literally like a tradition for football now. It's like you can't have one without the other kind of thing.
And I don't know what the priority would be. Like I assume it'll be like third period 1-goal games, or like if team goes on the power play they'll cut there. So it'll be interesting to see like what their criteria is.
And stuff would be kind of cool too.
Seeing every goal around the league, because like that's what's awesome about red zone is like you might miss a touchdown but you get to see it later.
Yeah.
So like that'll be sweet, is like watching every goal. And hey buddy, watch
guest
Milo.
appearance from my dog Milo.
Big bad Milo.
Huge Jets fan.
Hey,
His
buddy.
first Jets game was the Bears and Jets last year in the pouring rain where Mike White diced them up.
Thoughts on
As a
the T
puppy.
Swift debacle, Milo?
That was bold. No comment. Yeah.
No comment.
So moving on with the Jets Chiefs game review, it was really like it was a great game. I mean, it started every way everyone thought it would. I was preparing this game being like, we're gonna get thumped, but maybe something can happen. Maybe there's bright spots, and boy, there was lots.
That stuff happened.
After the safety happens, all of a sudden the Jets just kind of build momentum. A couple touchdowns, a couple interceptions later, the game's tied at 20-20. And obviously, what's unfortunate is that the Jets don't get the ball back due to, there was a missed holding call on Jermaine Johnson on a big third down and long Patrick Mahomes scramble. And then there was obviously the pass interference call
Phantom
that
call.
came late after the ball was catched.
That's what's the most bullshit about it.
Yeah.
It's like the play had long developed since then, and because it's picked, the ref goes, no.
Also the argument that like they do that all game.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what Salah said in the presser today was that like they do this. If you could call that every single snap.
You could.
Why call it then and call it after the game? But that's fine. I literally do full like tinfoil hat on my head. It was the NFL was like, there's no way that the Jets can win this game. Taylor Swift is a Chiefs fan. The Chiefs have to win because there are 6 million new fans watching for the first time, and they're all Chiefs fans.
Yeah. I think it's just like shitty ref thinking where like they're humans, and in his head he's like, it's not enough to call until it gets picked, and he's like, oh, now like
and they can't pick it up.
Yeah, and then I think in the back of his head he's going like, oh, that replay might look really bad. I think I have to throw a flag here. Yeah. It's just like it's shitty reffing.
The Jets were toe to toe with the Super Bowl champions, with Zach Wilson. Yeah. Like there's he had the game on Sunday Night Football that Rodney Harrison was talking crap before and after the game.
That guy's a joke,
about he was missing guys in warm-ups, he said, and after the game he's trying to get Chris Jones to talk about it.
Yeah.
But
classic
he finally had
Patriot.
the game that as a Jets fan you wanted to see from him. Zach Wilson was the first ever player in Patrick Mahomes', I think it was like college and professional, maybe even high school, to have a better stat in every single passing category, which of course that's like such a specific, that's the most Zach Wilson stat ever, but it's exciting. So looking in the stat comparison here, we had the Jets with 245 passing yards, 108 rushing yards, 1 sack, and they only turned the ball over once. The Kansas City Chiefs had 197 passing yards, 204 rushing yards. They had 2 sacks and they had 2 turnovers for the 2 Mahomes picks. So the Jets, the big outlier was the rushing attack with Pacheco. Yeah. I mean, Pacheco looked great.
That's where the game was won and lost.
Yeah.
And if for Zach Wilson to keep up that level of play, I think that like the Jets had 108 rushing yards.
Yeah.
That number needs to go up.
It's not sustainable the way it happened, but I mean, I agree.
And reports today that Breece Hall's workload's not going to be unlimited. I think that'll help. I think Dalvin Cook needs to be like, at best, like a 5-touch-a-game player.
Literally
killing drives.
Michael Carter is
way better.
Way better.
I'd rather see Izzy Abonaconda dressed than
Izzy to the
Dalvin
Izzy is
right
so good. He looked great in preseason. But no, agreed. It's unfortunate what the Dalvin Cook signing has become. Maybe later on the season when he's more acclimated or something. Maybe
you took a shot, it didn't work. He's an aging player.
It's a 1-year contract.
Just don't let it keep hurting you,
No.
Like, give the touches to the right players.
Agreed. And I think Breece needs to get some more touches in general as well. I think he had less than 10 rushes. Like
he's more in the receiving game too.
Oh,
get
for
the
sure.
Up.
So I'm hoping, but the play calling was fantastic.
Yes.
Hackett probably had his best calling game. We'll get to the Hackett storyline looking into next week. But looking back to this, some of the top performers. The last couple of weeks, there's been literally 1 or 0. But this week, there was so many that I couldn't even involve them all. I mean, first thing, I just talked about Zach Wilson, Zach Attack, baby. He had a 72% completion percentage, which is insane. In like, you're happy with a 60.
Yeah.
2 touchdowns, 105 quarterback rating. Garrett Wilson had 14 targets and for 9 catches and 60 yards. One of them that was touchdown that was just out of reach. I thought he was going to palm that in one-handed. But it's great that they're getting him involved. Yeah. It's great that they know that that's a piece of their offense that they need to focus in on. And he's not getting 2 targets a game like he did sometimes last year.
He needs double-digit targets a week.
Agreed. So then Alan Lazard finally had his breakout game as a Jet.
Awesome.
That touchdown pass from Zach in the it was literally, if it was an inch to the right, it's intercepted or picked or incomplete. It was literally couldn't be more perfectly back shoulder in slow motion.
And that's what gets me excited. It's like, that is BYU Zach Wilson. Now, like, before the draft, I was like, the Jets should absolutely pick this kid.
Yeah.
Because that's how he played in college. He was confident. He let it rip. In the NFL, I feel like it's been a lot of like seeing the rush, a lot of ball padding. And this game, I feel like he just kind of let it rip.
Totally. No, I think in the offensive line, they had that new makeshift O-line. I talked to Adam last week about it. That like it's really improved. Now you have Dwayne Brown out of there, move Makai to left. You put Tittman in at guard and move Vera Tucker, it's insane that he's good at tackle and guard, out to tackle. Insane. It changed everything. So
the O-line was great this game.
Yep. So looking next, Quincy Williams. Quincy Williams
is all over the place.
In every game he has been. He had 2 pass deflections, 2 tackles for a loss, and 13 tackles. CJ Mosley had 11 tackles and a pick. He almost had a second one that he dropped.
That one right through his hands.
And then the GOAT, Ashton, the closer Davis, with 2 tackles and the first interception on Mahomes.
I still hope he becomes something. He was fun to watch.
Regardless, though, he's grown on me after year because he's been a special teams like ace for us. Yeah. Like he's been really great that way.
And if you're a rotational player who like now and then like comes up
he's
with
fast
a turnover,
and athletic,
that's so valuable. If you play limited snaps and still get turnovers now and then, that's awesome.
Yeah, it says a lot that the team has like. There's been, I think, like every year that like Jets fans always predict that he becomes a roster cut.
Yeah,
and it's great that like they keep him around. Obviously, he's worked like a great locker room guy. If he's still like he's been there every year doing special teams. He's been on the field, just hasn't been like in the way that you would think. Right. Looking into Jets Broncos. It's kind of an exciting matchup. This is one that as soon as the drama happened in the preseason, everyone circles it. From episode whatever it was, if this game first came up, me and Adam both said like this is a game the Jets don't lose. And even after the Rodgers injury, we're both like this is not a game the Jets lose. They went right for the coach. Like the players answered, Sala answered respectfully. Rodgers had that little line about keep my coach's name out of your mouth. That's what Salah said. I think justified it perfectly. Was that like coaches don't do that to other coaches? Like it's a brotherhood. Like it's just you just don't do that.
No.
I think Sean Payton. I used to like him with the Saints.
He's a scumbag, man.
But he seems like I don't know what it was. The limelight with him being on NBC or whatever just really like went to his head, and now he's just like he's just the TV show guy just throwing out lines. Because man. Crazy some of the stuff that he said, and about like I always joke about like the thing that happened in preseason about the bucket hats, the interviews and the sunglasses and stuff like that. Like Garrett Wilson was doing it against the Panthers, and like he couldn't answer the press conference question if that was like indirect response. So basically, it was a yes.
You're right.
And so just all of these things coming together, and I'm like, man. And the Broncos look pretty weak this year. Russ has improved slightly, but like this Broncos team, this defense gave up 70 to Miami.
Which you're not used to from Denver either. Like I thought they'd at least have a good defense.
Not exactly. And so it's lining up like this should be the most winnable game for the Jets so far this year. That excites me, but also scares me because I don't know how many times I said this in the past. And then knowing them, Zach Wilson throws for under 100 yards and 4 picks, and it's embarrassing. And everyone's back in like same old Jets, but
can't live like that.
Exactly.
Scared.
Exactly. And I'm like the Jets. That last game, everyone was in great spirits.
Yeah.
Zach Wilson was taking ownership after the loss,
and you can see how lifted the team.
The team like rallied around him.
Totally. People were like full on, like this guy needs to go. He needs to be replaced. Joe Namath, like franchise legend,
was brutal.
Calling him out, saying he's an embarrassment. But like, it's not nothing that Zach played it very cool in the media and was like, hey, he's a franchise legend. He's entitled to his opinion. But like, he answered confidently and like didn't get like too down on himself or like deflect or anything like he might have in the past. Then he comes out and plays his best pro game ever. I think that like, I don't know if it's turning a corner or like this was just like he like dialed in or like changed his preparation a little bit, but it says something that he was under the most scrutiny he's ever been in for someone who's been like heavily scrutinized and then plays his best game on prime time versus the Chiefs.
There was like the Jets podcast I was listening to, they were talking about how like there are people now who watch their first ever NFL game because of Taylor Swift and think that Zach Wilson is like a top NFL quarterback.
Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
that's so funny.
It's like there's memes where it's like like fans are being like, "Well, man, like Kelsey, he should get traded to the Jets. Like he'd play way better with this other guy throwing him the ball. He's getting all their tight ends
Who's
involved."
This bum?
Oh my gosh.
They also think Isaiah Pacheco's like Derrick Henry.
My one buddy's a big track guy.
Yeah.
Ran it for years and coaches it. And he's like, man, Isaiah Pacheco would be way faster if he like had a running coach. Like he runs so much wasted movement with
Totally.
but it's funny because like he runs so angry,
He's
man.
a Tasmanian devil. Like, it almost works to his advantage.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
That's totally what he runs like. It's just like, how do you tackle him?
Yeah.
Just flailing limbs.
Yeah. Kind of diving back into some of the matchups to watch
Yes.
too. I think another thing that's exciting to see will be kind of these Broncos receivers, and I feel like they've been strong, especially last week in that big comeback. Like you saw Cortland Sutton. They have little Jordan Humphrey who looks really good for them. Judy's still playing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, like they still have all those guys.
Sutton's had a quietly good year so far.
Yeah.
Like he's not someone to be ignored. I assume Sauce would be on him.
And that Broncos Jets game from last year, like it was like a close one because Sutton and Sauce were going like at it all game,
That's
and
a
that
fun
was
matchup.
like it was. So I'm excited to see how that goes because I think like the Chiefs don't stack up fairly well against the Jets in terms of receivers. They really got to key in on Mahomes.
Yeah.
Or not Mahomes, Kelsey, and you saw that like early in the game, Kelsey got involved, and then he was kind of silent until like later in the game. So like they did a great job of containing him.
Totally.
And so now I'm excited to see how these receivers match up. DJ Reed is in concussion protocol for the Jets.
Okay.
And their fourth cornerback, who Eccles, he's injured right now as well.
Oh no.
And so the Jets
Depleted a little bit.
at corner. So that's kind of something to keep an eye on. DJ Reed and Sauce, like to me, I'm biased, but I think if they're not number one, they're at least top three to cornerback tandem in the league. So I'm excited to see how that shakes out. Bryce Hall for the Jets last weekend, he got some way more playing time because of the injuries, and he didn't look great. There was a couple times where he was definitely getting.
That's tough.
So I'm excited to see how that shakes out, but I think, man, this game is one that you definitely look most forward to. The Broncos are wearing those white their uniforms with the white buckets, so
that'll be sweet.
It's exciting, man.
Yeah, as a neutral fan, it's gonna be like on the Red Zone channel. It's gonna be one you pay extra attention to. I'm gonna be like, I think with the whole Hackett storyline and Zach finally looking like, I think it's gonna be a very motivated Jets building this week. And I think I'm going to be paying attention early, like if they make plays, like how fired up they are watching Saul on the sideline.
I feel like they don't respond to it, but I feel like they have to be seeing the stuff that they say, like people are saying about them and about Zach in general, like the Rodney Harrison clip. Like I feel like as a team, you look at that and you're like, hey, do you want to step up and play harder for that guy? Because I feel like so far this season, that's all Zach's done is try to be the best version of himself under impossible circumstances. So I think it's gonna be awesome. Really quickly, who do the Colts play this weekend?
We play the Titans.
Interesting. Where the Titans just came off a win against the Bengals. Where King Henry looked
2-2. It's pretty exciting right now.
The whole division.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The Texans look great. Yeah.
Stroud looks like the real deal. Like I thought he would.
That used to be like not even that long ago. I feel like the South was looked at as like probably the weakest division in the NFL.
And
now
most exciting.
Maybe. Yeah. So that's sweet. Against the Titans, are you guys home or away?
We are home.
Home.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's big.
Richardson's he's healthy this week.
He is.
Yeah.
Only big injuries are, I don't think it's going to be anything serious, but our left tackle is still in concussion protocol. So that's something to watch because the Titans obviously have a great pass rush. That's how they win. Quentin's been banged up, but he's going to play. Buck's been banged up, but he's going to play. Like no major injuries, luckily. Rich, full health, so I feel good.
Good. That's awesome. With the Jets and the Broncos this weekend, what do you think the score prediction is going to be?
I think it's a statement game for the Jets. Is it in New York or Denver?
It's in Denver.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's a statement game for the Jets. I think that first possession where Zach gets his hands on the ball, that's like a divergent point on their season. Like if he marches them down and scores, like that's going to be a fucking fired up bench.
Yeah.
But like the coaches are going to be fired up. Zach's going to be feeling confident. I'm going to go 31-21 Jets.
31-21 Jets.
I think Brees has a big game too.
I agree with that last point. I'm not sure if this will be another great, like, I don't think statistically it'll be a great performance what we saw from Zach last time.
No, it's tough.
The Broncos run D is how the Dolphins put up basically 70 on them. They were running with all these different pieces. I think we see Xavier Gibson he got some tread on offense last week. I think we can see that continue this week. I think we see Breece Hall I think he has his game so far best of the season.
Yep.
And I think we also see either Michael Carter or Dalvin get into the end zone once.
Yep.
I think this is going to be, you said 31-21?
Yeah.
Give me 35-17.
I like
a little bit more spread out. I think the Jets put in the work. I think Zach throws one touchdown pass to like Michael Carter, and that's the only touchdown pass he has. Yeah, he has like a safe like 180 where he throws like 60% or something like chill like that. And then, but like it's just like the running game is what takes over here, and then the defense just completely annihilates.
I might sprinkle a little bet on defensive touchdown. I think Russ is going to overcook it, and we might see
the Jets' safeties really stepped up this year. Yeah. Like Whitehead, I was blown away with his ball skills that week one game, and even like he's getting pass deflections week after week. So that's exciting. I like it. And with that will be, I think it's episode 6 of the Jets Up North podcast. Thank you, Ryan, for guest hosting. It was great to talk about the Jets and a little bit of the Colts this week. We'll be back again next week with Adam and with our regular scheduled programming. Until then, thank you for flying with us, and cheers.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.